I said that I wanted to start putting some more Teamfight Tactics stuff up on the channel, and I've been playing somewhere around 1 to 2 games a day, typically off stream, as I said before, but just trying to hang in there, keep either my position on the ladder or kind of keep progressing. Like I said, right now I'm low diamond, and I figured I might as well start recording them since I wanted to put more of it on the channel anyway, so that's what we're doing. Waiting for the game to load now. I'm going to take a look and see what kind of board we got here. It's a wind board, which is, again, something that I've been kind of struggling with. I'd really like to get this Varus, but I don't think I'm going to get there in time. Because I wanted the glove. Oh! Oh no! Well, that was pretty terrible. I was in an awkward position. I probably shouldn't have chased the glove knowing that I couldn't get there. It's probably a bit of a mistake on my part. I just think that glove is a pretty safe start. I've been warming up to trying to get one pair of gloves early on and then focusing on stuff for whatever my build is, but gloves are safe. They're kind of universal, so trying to get 1 or 2 gloves early, in my opinion, it gives you a lot of flexibility for the rest of your build. Wow, okay. I guess we'll grab this because that's 3 mages. And I guess we'll grab this Nasus in case we see stuff to maybe consider going light. I've been favoring a lot of the what I call 6 comps, right? So 6 light, 6 rangers, obviously incredibly popular in the current meta. Still don't mind going 6 mages as long as I'm not stuck chasing it.
The dark should fear me.
And not a lot here to really change my mind about anything. Sure, I guess we'll do this. I mean, I could break up these steel units as well. They're not really doing me any favors. I've also been kind of favoring what I call the fast 5, and I don't mean Vin Diesel, where I'm getting to 5 before I start my econ. And I mean like very fast, like pre-carousel ending up at 5, which I know is traditionally frowned upon, but well, other than this vein here. I mean, that's Ocean and Mage. At least a wee bit early. Got the Talia over there.
The harvest is upon us.
Make a couple of sales there. I mean, if we do decide to go mage, we've got some pretty good items here early on, right? I typically like something tier based. If we get a rod to turn this into a Morello's, that puts us in a good position. Similarly, we only have the 1 vein, but if rangers do start to show up, being able to turn this into a static shiv to jam on Ash is kind of a big deal. Wow, that Renekton put in some work. Alright, well, you're just better than Vlad at the moment. Probably just going to sell these out and make this interest point, win or lose. And again, currently shop kind of just peppering me with mages, even though I'm not necessarily wed to this game plan since we haven't 2-starred anything yet. Still pretty flexible. Just trying to make the best out of what we got here.
Leave no stone unturned.
So we'll sell the 1, make our 1 interest. because money matters. We're not going to do the fast 5. Normally this would be the round where I would consider doing it if I was on a win streak and I wanted to protect it. I try to, if I've started with a pretty hot win streak, protect it fiercely, at least through the Krugs, but alright, let's do that there. And again, still not necessarily wed. This is our best 4, but not wed to mages, but again, it is kind of chucking them in our direction. I think I still prefer rangers on a board like this, but... Alright, so we could end up just losing this on the strength of electric. Early on, getting these two paired together is very, very powerful. And then when you combine it with the Thresh and Nautilus here as well for some resiliency. Wow, we actually pulled that off on a trigger from Syndra. A little bit of RNG help, but we will take it. Now we're going to be picking towards the end, which makes me a bit sad. The likelihood of a rod making it to us is going to be pretty slim. So what are our fallback plans here? And I guess we'll wait and see. Oh, they just went up. As long as these two people both don't go rod, I say, oh, I won the tiebreaker, never mind. Haha, we get a rod, okay. Gotta pay attention to those things. So when you're here at 96, I will say sometimes this throws me. It shows me picking in the last position, but that's not actually the case, as you can see, right? Because of the tiebreaker, I actually got let out early. And that is something that frequently catches me off guard. So this is a bit interesting, even though it... let's put the Viger back out there. Let's do something like this. And if we're not going to make the interest point, and again, we've got all these mages, but no 2 stars, we might as well grab this Varus as well. Because I am still not 100% in on the mage's game plan here. Even though the shop is, again, still peppering me with them. We haven't 2-starred any of them, but we have far more of them than anything else at the moment. Alright, we should take a win here. Even if we sell everything, including the Rangers, not enough to make interest there, so no reason to panic and do it. Again, still not 2-starring the mages, so we'll grab some Rangers. Like early on, you don't have to commit to Rangers, but if you kind of collect them, sometimes you can transition. It's not until you're stacking the tier 3 units that I think it really starts to matter. And the reason I say that is because the Kindred and the Ezreal are, in my opinion, when you really start to realize that, hey, like I've got enough that I can go this route. Considering that 2 of your Rangers are tier 3 and 2 of your Rangers are tier 4, it's a pretty expensive build at times. Alright, we're probably going to lose this because of the executes here, unless Viger gets... Well, he got the double, but yeah, Kog'Maw's still going to finish us off. We're doing relatively okay. We're still losing a game here or there, which is interrupting the win streak, which is kind of annoying, but we are losing them to just quality, right? The opponents we're losing to have 2 stars. We lost to that early 2-star Renekton. They're a pair of 2 stars as well. Alright, well, I think at this point it is safe for us to assume that we are on a mage's game plan. I think the writing is officially there on the wall. So we'll do something like this. We just have far more units of them and far more pairs of them than anything else. I think we're going to sell these as well, just on the off chance that If we get money to drop, it'll put us on a interest threshold, or sometimes they'll throw some units at us. I wouldn't mind them giving me, like, you know, a Nautilus Syndra package or something here. Alright, the double chain vests, though, not exactly the kind of items that you're looking for. Also, a quick Braum there to catch the money. And, yeah, alright, more mages. Hope you guys like mages, because that's what we got on deck. I think we're still gonna do... Let's do something like this, I guess, for positioning. Like, we want them spread out. I don't know, this double wind hex here is actually a bit clunky. So we have pairs of Talia, LeBlanc, Vladimir, Syndra, Nautilus. Basically, everybody, not Viger or Thresh, we have pairs of, but we're still going to take a loss here because of quality, right? Again, 2 stars, but also they've got 4 deserts online there, which is very good for them, very impressive. We'll grab some of these because we're not going to make interest one way or the other. Alright, well there's an Ashe. We did sell out of our other Rangers though, and again we hadn't 2-starred any of them. I think that's our biggest issue right now, right? Is we just have not really hit on any of our 2-stars here. Now we could make the jump, we could take like 1 less interest and make the jump to 6 here, but I don't really think that it's worth it. And my reasoning for that is that, again, we don't have any 2-stars. I could jam 6 units out there, and there's a strong chance that I still don't win this. In fact, look at this. This is somebody else who's on mages, but with a significantly better lineup. Because they have hit the 2-stars. If we have maybe even equal a number of 2-stars there, we probably have enough firepower to beat that, but
this is a waste of my time.
We're just pair city right now. All of our champs duo queued. All right, there we go. Now we're cooking with gas, as they say. You can make the swap here for now. I want to leave these 4 in just because of the 4 ocean. I think that's very relevant. I think what we're going to do instead, though, is start putting the items here that we know we want. We're going to leave the tier unassigned for the moment, just on the off chance that we get a spatula. These double chain vests are probably fine going on our Nautilus. We'll do that after we lose this round. And even if we win this, we don't have enough to make the next interest point, which is why we bought this. This represents 8 gold. The win is 9. Wow, we actually won that. I am shocked. Alright, so here we wouldn't mind, I was going to say another tier. However, that's going to be gone. So I think in this case then we'll try to grab the rod. Because firepower is pretty important. That could become like a Rage Blade, for example. Which is a fairly, like, middle of the road mage item, but it's something that goes well with this bow that we already have. And again, I kind of want to save that tier for potentially the mage's cap. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and sell this and these, and then we make this leap so that we can get Dandy Brand up and running here. And do something like this. And as promised, we're going to go ahead and throw the vest here. And I think we're going to take 1 reroll and see if maybe we catch a break. Alright, we did with the LeBlanc. LeBlanc can trade out with Talia here after this round. Didn't quite have the time to do it there, but the 2-star LeBlanc will be better than the 2-star Talia. Again, even though it's kind of a bummer, I think you keep the 4 Ocean. 1-star Brand's not exciting necessarily, but probably with the Morellos there, still worth putting in. We are also, at this point, kind of just focusing on our economy a bit, I think. Do some more separating. Because at this point, I think we get us at least close to the cusp of going to 7, and then while we're on the cusp, we start trying to consider rolling down or re-rolling again, just because we need to find a couple of these lower units before we make the jump, but we also want to be in a position where we can start hunting for Brand, knowing that we have at least one other person going mage for competition. So, ooh, another very personal ult there, Malphite, picking on poor Brand like that.
I can be so much more.
Alright, going into Wolves, and there's a nice Nautilus. And we'll just kind of do a flippy flop like this, so that Wolves will jump here. Everybody will clean that up. This is kind of what I'm talking about, right? So we're going to go to here, and then after this Wolf round, we'll see what the shop gives us, and then consider rolling down if the stuff isn't there. But we'd like to find Vlad and some Threshes. Alright, we found a gloves. That's kind of nice. The Quicksilver, not so much, but the gloves by themselves can be good there. Alright, so let's buy these up before we take some of these rerolls. And actually, I'm going to talk myself into buying a couple of these as well. Talia, not really what we're looking for. Alright, so there's one Thresh. I don't really think that I want to keep the LeBlanc. Oh. Well, I didn't swap the Cinder out. Bit of a mental breakdown there. We're going to pretend that didn't happen. Poor Syndra hung out to dry out front. So this here could be a great additional item. Well, this is somebody that was already at 7. Even if Syndra was back, I'm not sure we beat them. This was the 4 desert player with a beefy Renekton, it looks like. And it looks like they're going to also run some number of Berserkers as well. I mean, alright, fine. I guess we'll grab this. And yeah, I still don't think we chased the 3-star Dreams there. Not quite yet. Again, Talia, LeBlanc, not really what we're looking for. Let's actually remember to make this change this time. And let's actually sell this to go one more. Alright, so there's the Thresh. So we still, sadly, will have the lonely 1-star Vlad, but I think this is good enough. At this point, we'll just make the jump to 7 here. Wanted to at least get the frontliners to 2-star. Next carousel, I think we're going to be hunting for another gloves. And we're going to go with the Talia here. With like this kind of spacing. So at this point, again, we're still looking for a Vlad. We'll buy this just kind of shorten up the pool a wee bit. And I think we're just going to go ahead and do this now. We need to consider throwing him a bone. We're going to leave this here again, at least probably through birds, and then it'll become a hush if we don't get the spatula. Now, if we get a spatula, then what we'll likely do is probably still collect Vigors along the way, but we'll try to snag ourselves a Nami and just outright replace this Vlad, since it's the weak point anyway. Speaking of which, I don't see... well, okay, we're going to take the glove here then. I was going to say, I don't see any reason to not take this Nami if it's there, but it turns out it wasn't there. So... it's one of the rare instances where I would have considered drafting a unit over an item. Because at worst case scenario, you end up with an Iceborne Gauntlet with this chain vest, which is still a decent item. I mean, it's not as good, I think, as just straight up getting the gloves, but I would have lived with a Gauntlet and the upside of potentially having a Nami replacement, but we don't have to worry about it. We found our Vlad anyway, and so now at this point, it is just Econ and Hunt for Vigor. And who do we actually want to wear these gloves? I think it really just comes down to, do we want it to be Syndra or Vigor? And, ooh, that was scary. I think we're going to go with Syndra just because she's on the field now. So that was scary because it lagged a bit. I don't know if that's going to come through in recording, but I legitimately thought that I was either going to have a crash or a DC. So we're hunting for Vigor, and Brand, obviously, is the other big one. But I'm torn here, right? Because on the one hand, I don't want to speed through all of my money just to get there and then hunt for Brand, even though he is kind of the carry. Because if we can maintain this and save enough gold to make the leap to 9 relatively early, adding in a Malphite, even if we don't get a spatula off this birds, is a pretty big upgrade for us. So I think for now we're gonna... we only have one more round, right? So even if we take a loss and we drop down to like the 30s, it's relatively okay. And then we'll probably take a small dip after that. Actually, no, we should be able to just naturally get there after birds to 8. Spend a few rounds re-rolling trying to find our Brands and Malphites. And they don't have poison turned on yet, I don't think, so might have a shot here. It's still a 3-star Kog'Maw in the back, though. This is a Predator build that does not look like it's going too well for them. Like, if they pick up a Singed, that could be a very dangerous team. Yeah, so we're going to naturally go to 8 after this anyway. And again, if we do not get a spatula, then Syndra will move here, Talia will probably kick over, and Brand will sit here kind of more central. Brand will wear the Hush, which is an okay pairing with both the Rage Blade, because it gives you like faster chances to trigger the silence, but then also because it gets him to his ult faster because of the tier. And then this will be a Frozen Heart, it looks like. No, it's going to be the Hand of Justice. That's right. I think I actually want to change this up a bit. Let's give Nautilus the Quicksilver and him this. And we'll jam Vigor over here. Spend this. So we're going to basically take this one round here at 8. And then we will likely buy our way to 9 and then start the hunt. And again, we're just looking for more Brands. Obviously, the one more Vigor to 2-star that. And then Malphite is the other unit, just to give us a third frontliner. Some more crowd control. Malphite is really important, not just because it turns on Mountain. Don't get me wrong, that's incredibly nice. But it's very important because the CC that he provides... do I want to go one more round and then have a lot of gold to roll down? I think we're okay. Let's go one more. The CC that Malphite provides also just buys you time for the rest of your squad to get their abilities off. Like, that's the real luxury. Now, because we're at the 51 health, I think, even though we're risking, you know, taking an L here, because we're, I think, hitting the point where we're slightly underpowered compared to other late game builds. Like, this looks like a very strong build. I want to take the risk here because I want to have enough money that once we go to 9, I want to be able to roll down and spend it. Okay, we're gonna, I think, come out fine. Making the jump to 9 doesn't really matter if you don't have the money to hunt for the units that you're hunting for. Now, if we don't find Malphite, Amumu is another great stand-in as well. Alright, so we're going to make the jump. But there's a beautiful Malphite. Okay. So now we just need one... I mean, Nami is
The ocean will sweep them away.
tempting. Alright, we'll grab the Amumu as well. I think Malphite is probably still going to be the better one just because we're more likely to 2-star it. But Amumu's pretty strong, though we don't have like Inferno turned on. Even with Amumu going in, it's only going to be 2 Inferno units counting
A dish best served cold.
our brand. Unless there is like an Inferno thing here. Oh, baby. It's not going to make it to us. There's no way it makes it to us. However, that Malphite already wearing a mage's cap. Oh my lord. Slam dunk. All right, so it's definitely Malphite we're sticking with. So now we're just hunting for brand, which seems to be my bane whenever I go mages. I don't know what it is about brand specifically, but I cannot find him. You need to put him in red and white striped shirts and hats, because he is more elusive than Waldo. Alright, so there's one brand. Alright, let's... even though we... alright, and then we'll just lock this in. Beautiful. Let's actually switch these up a bit, so it's like this. Specifically because the way Nautilus's ult works... we might actually switch Thresh and Malphite here, so Malph's a little more centered, but the way Nautilus's ult works is it always picks the unit farthest from him, but it deals damage to everything that the depth charge travels through. So when you do get to the point where you have like 3 frontliners, you kind of want him on an edge so that when he ults something, you get a ton of value. Alright, so I just heard the noise, which means we're top 4. But we also just hit our brand, so we are in a good spot. Yeah, let's make this change, right? So Malphite's nice and front and center, likely to pop off any given moment here. Let's make this change as well. Viger hits a little bit harder than her. She's more likely to get a cast off early, so once she gets her cast off, if she gets nuked from, say, like an assassin jumping into this corner, it's not as big of a deal. But I like our setup. So at this point, I mean, there's not really much for us to buy upgrade-wise, so we're just going to grab units as they come in front of us. We're a million years away from any 3-stars, but I wasn't really chasing them. I wanted to focus on my economy to get the pieces online. This is kind of like trying to assemble Voltron. But once you do, you hit like a truck. And I still cannot believe that Malphite made it to me. Now, there is an argument to be made at times, right, where because you have this... hold on, hear me out. Because you have this, you could swap out, say, like, Vladimir. And still maintain your 4 ocean. So we have to ask ourselves, is because we don't need him for the 6 mages now, right? So is this better? And I think the answer actually might be yes. So I think we're gonna do it. This goes here because we just want him to ult that much sooner, and it's good CC. But now that we're making this Nami choice, that actually does give us something to potentially hunt for upgrades, right? So we're just gonna go ahead and save.
The ocean will sweep them away.
Oh well, we'll have it for next time, right? So that'll be a 2-star Nami helping us out after this round. Now sadly it'll only be 1 wave. It's not as cool as when you give her the mage's cap, but it'll still be a pretty impressive wave.
Wash them away.
And with Nami, it is very much like Nautilus, where you want her on an edge because the wave hits allies and enemies that it goes through, and you just kind of want it to, in my opinion, cover the majority of the board. But I don't think I want to put her in this corner necessarily, because again, that's potentially where assassins could jump to. However, yeah, so like this Kha'Zix that's trying to stay alive with the double Bloodthirster, which is kind of bonkers. It's going to jump to this corner, right? So we don't want it to hit. Well, they have 2 Kha'Zix. They 3-star that could be an issue. But again, we don't want that to hit our Nami, right? We want Nami to survive. Actually, no reason for us to even hold on to those any longer. Shadow is tempting. Yeah, the only other thing that we would consider would be maybe like an Ocean Lux at this point, because that would get us to 6 Ocean, which also has the potential to be pretty awesome. I mean, I guess we can grab Malphites while we're at it. Glacier doesn't really help us, sure. Like I said, we're just going to collect anything, but this game will likely be over before we 3-star anything, but we're going to collect anything that jumps in front of us for a bit. So we're against another mage player, right? This is the person we were kind of competing with. It's rare. It's been a long time since I've seen mages in the top 3 like this, doubled up. It's been traditionally rangers, but... Alright, so they go out. Ideally, we want the Thieves Gloves, because those are the most bang for the buck, but yeah, they're on that side, so... Instead, we're going to grab, I guess, the cannon. Argument to be made about maybe you take the Zeeks, but then you have to group up. Where this cannon is just going to be a nice, safe addition to Nami back here. All those brands went back into the pool. Again, I think that this is going to be over before we even come close to 3-starring anything, though. Though if we do want to 3-star something, let's be honest, like Malphite's the unit that you want to 3-star. So I guess what we'll do is we'll just see if we can chase down some Malphites for giggles. So these matchups against Chen here, who is our opponent, well, here's another brand, are largely just going to come down to us being able to get enough burst. We're going to hold on to the brands because I was wrong. I thought it was the mage player that got eliminated, but it was the desert. So even more of a reason for us to hold on to these brands to keep them from getting there, though. That's another Malphite. If the shop shows me magically 3 Malphites, we could get a 3-star Malphite that's also a mage. That would be the mountainous dream. Not since Game of Thrones would a mountain be so threatening. Oh, alright, Alright, they got the drop on us this time around. It looks like. So they have very wisely added Mystic to their lineup, in case you're wondering what's going on there. So if we take the peek over, right, they've added this Karma, and then they also have the Master Yi here, and that's who they grabbed the Thieves Gloves for. And they also have this Janna and the Nami. So they are basically trying to load their lineup against ours because we're so magic heavy. The problem is that we don't really have a good way to bail out of our game plan, if that makes sense. You know, at this point we're committed to this particular setup. I guess this will go here. This is our next best location for it. Look at all that gold. When we really just want some mountains.
Flee from the cold.
I mean, the likelihood of us actually finding this are very, very slim, let's be honest. But sure would be neat. The only thing we have working for us is they are pretty grouped up. So assuming that, you know, Malphite's ult goes off well here, like we hit a lot of targets, right? So we get a lot of CC, but again, the Mystic portion is really hampering our burst. Well, this is going to be close. All right. I think we might see them reverse sweep us a bit. Oh, there's the Ocean Lux.
Still waters run deep.
There is the Ocean Lux. As good as you are, Nami, I think. Well, actually, it would have to be the Malphite. Oh, interesting. Because we've got 4 in, so to jump to 6, we would have to lose our Malphite. Because it would have to, that's the only way you'd have to put the Mage's Cap on her. I'm not sure that that trade-off is worth it currently. There was not great Malphite ults this time around, so I think we take the L here as well. Yeah, I don't think we're going to be able to get through the 4 Mystic build, but again, we don't really have a good way to abandon our game plan. So since we're just gonna lose anyway, let's see what happens when we do the thing. Let's actually put her here to protect her a little bit better. Alright, we'll lock for a second one. Again, just on the off chance. If we do win this, the game's not over. And then we could buy this and maybe hunt for the 3rd, but I don't think we're going to win this. I think that the Malphite was just overall the better inclusion. But since we were going to lose anyway, we didn't have a good way to pop through the Mystic. There was no point in not giving that a try. So, good game all around. Happy to finish 2nd place there. Considering that our opponent went hard counter. And it's going to go black because it's popping me back. But that's it. If you made it this far, hey, if you made it this far, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Again, going to try to put more Teamfight Tactics stuff up on the channel because I am still playing it. I figured I might as well record the games while I'm going. So thanks, and hopefully I'll catch you watching future videos.